quorum. We got everyone? Yeah.
Play golf.
Buck's afraid if his voices come back.
When you're ready, ma'am.
No. I had
What are all these people doing here?
I'd like to welcome everyone to our March 13th meeting today. I was reading my minutes, excuse me. If you, the chair recognizes a quorum, so if you please stand, we'll say a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes? And if so, I'll ask for any corrections. A motion for approval.
Move to approve the minutes as sent.
Second.
Mr. Rumball approves the minutes. Mr. Hale seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Approval of agenda. Is there any additions or corrections to the agenda? If not, I'll call for a motion.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next on our agenda is new business. Public hearing for rezone petition Z2304. Doug Mullins, on behalf of Mullen Enterprises LLC, is requesting to rezone 21.6 acres from R1 to R2. The property is located on east side of Foxcliff Golf Course at 1970 East Maple Turn Road in Washington Township. Mr. Mullins? You're welcome. If you would, please state your name and your address for us, please. Hang on, I don't think that mic's working. The mics are having issues, so you have to lean forward so they can hear you. So,
Test, test, test. I live at 3762 North Foxcliff Drive East, Martinsville, Indiana. And this is my partner in crime, Paula Mullen. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it. It's actually great to see so many people here in support, hopefully in support of the golf course and what we're about to talk about. So thanks everybody for coming out tonight. So how we got here. So Paula and I have lived in the community Foxcliff for 37 years. 8 kids, 23 grandkids later, we own a golf course. Wasn't necessarily in the plan, but we're loving it. And it's kind of interesting the way we view ownership of the golf course. We kind of feel like we're the caretakers of the golf course and trying to create an opportunity for the community, not just for golfers, but for people to have a place to go and get involved as a community. So we have a lot of things that kind of complement the golf course in that way: cornhole leagues, music, restaurant, and other things. As we were making a business decision to buy the golf course, a golf course that has struggled financially for, I can't even guess how many years. Part of our business plan was to do something that might create revenue streams that would strengthen the golf course in a financial way. Not only strengthen the golf course in a financial way, but also produce something that is much needed in our community and within our county. And that is retirement homes, single level, I don't know if we call them garden homes, patio homes, whatever you want to call them. But I'll talk a little more specifically about that. And so we opted to dedicate a portion of the golf course property to the development of these types of retirement homes. So we closed on the golf course a week before Christmas of 2021. January of '22, we presented ourselves to the board at Foxcliff North to make it known that we plan to pursue doing some kind of building as we're about to talk about tonight. I really didn't want them to think that we were trying to pull a fast one in the purchase of the golf course and make it something other than a golf course. It is always under our ownership going to be a golf course. And so we were very forthright and straightforward about what we were attempting to do. I didn't want them to think that we were going to impede on any adjacent homeowners, or we were going to impede on the view of Foxcliff as you come in the main entrance. We want to be respectful for everybody in the community that surrounds the golf course and not disrupt, their views and what they've appreciated over the years being next to the golf course. So we met with the board. Overwhelmingly, I think 100% were in favor at that time of us moving forward. And after that, we met with Mapleturn Utilities, and then after that, I had a conversation with Mr. Henshaw, who's in the room, who was the president of Foxcliff South at the time. It was our intention to include everybody that we could on the front end and not leave room for any surprises afterwards where people felt like maybe we were trying to do something underhanded. So maybe I think we actually probably overachieved just a bit on trying to be actually more transparent on the front end. Paula and I have a couple of different commercial endeavors. We were half of the Artesian Group. We did sell out to our business partner a couple of years ago, Craig Finneman. And then after that, Paula and I own Mullen Properties. And the reason I'm describing this, I don't want it to get confused with what we're doing here. Mullen Properties are the properties that we own downtown Martinsville. Mullen Enterprises is what we own the golf course under. This is a new process to us, and everything that we've done in Martinsville and in Morgan County, all the Artesian Group stuff, we never had to ask for a rezone, so this is brand new to me. So I do want to say thank you to Laura for leading me by the hand down this path on what to do and how to do it. So thank you. Appreciate that. So anyway, as we moved on and decided to put a little more meat on the bone, reference what we were planning to do, we brought other people to the table. And like I said, we brought Mapleturn Utility, we brought representatives from Foxcliff South and Foxcliff North. And when the weather got just a bit warmer, we took them all out on the property, showed them exactly what we were proposing, where the homes would be built. There were other county officials that we had opportunity to talk to, showed them the property, showed them where we were going to egress onto the property from Mapleturn, which is directly across from Mapleturn Utilities. And so we had that opportunity firsthand to escort people around the property and show them what we were thinking. We engaged with the Washington Township Fire Department and the Martinsville Fire Department, especially Charlie Fraker. None of this is going to be done without the blessing of those two fire departments and how we structure the roadways, making sure that we have easements and places for them to turn around. And I just want you all to be confident that we're putting a high priority on making sure we're touching base with all the right people before we step off. The one thing that's interesting about this project, we never advertised the project, but in a short time in a community, you know how word gets out. So at the time, and even now, we think probably we can build no more than 26, if even that. I mean, it might be 24. But we have almost double that number of names of people who want to be considered for these properties. And the reason I wanted to tell you that is beyond our project, we need to figure out a way that we can build more similar type accommodations for people that are in that part of their life where they want to simplify, downsize, live on one level, and in a community that they feel good about. So I just want to kind of check mark that I think even beyond what we're proposing, it needs to be something that we're thinking about in the future. I'm even confused myself what to call them, patio homes, garden homes. I don't really consider them condos. They're standalone brick with wood trim. Some will have two-car garages, some 2.5, and some 3. The 2.5 would accommodate a golf cart, maybe. The way it's designed right now, it's 55 and over. There would be no shared walls. Maybe, people kind of define this maybe as a zero lot line, when the lot line is maybe 15 feet in that 15 to 20-foot range. The golf course will take care of all the lawn and common areas and all the snow removal for the roads. And if requested, we'll take care of all the snow removal for the private homes as well. And like I said earlier, they're all on one level. They're all crawl space. All the doorways are 36 inches, ADA compliant. All the bathrooms and showers can be ADA compliant as well. It's an open concept. These homes are high-quality homes in that $400,000 to $500,000 range. Cathedral ceilings, beautiful appliances, a lot of storage. It's going to be a community that you and the rest of us would be proud of. Right now, I'm estimating possibly 24 to 26 units. I think on the map, it might have a couple less than that. Trying to figure it out. Right now, who we have aligned to help us with this project, I think they're names that you may know. Mick English, excavating for the utilities. Wallace Paving, construction for the roads. John Falkenberg is the contractor of choice. If you don't know John Falkenberg, he designs, builds homes from maybe that 300,000 to 400,000 range up to over $1 million out of Monrovia. His wife is Amy Falkenberg, the veterinarian, if that helps you dial in on that family. Good family, been around a long time. Align Engineering is our engineering firm. And we have Meristem LLC Environmental Services standing by. I'm not sure of what the repercussions are going to be by building patio homes on some of these elevated and hillside areas, but we are very tuned in to making sure that I don't create a situation that would cause harm, as Mike brought to my attention, that we're not pushing water to another part of Foxcliff, whether it's south, north, or otherwise. And we're just going to pay some specific attention to that. That's why we have the environmental team standing by to help us with that. We're going to work closely with the county on the entrance. I've been very visible about where that entrance is. If you're familiar with Mapleturn, you go down a fairly steep hill, and then it levels out for a period of time. And Mapleturn Utilities is at that place, and our proposal is to build the entrance into this development right directly across from the Mapleturn entrance. And without getting too complicated on any of the other things that we're in the process of making decisions on, I'll just take a breath there and see if any of you have a question.
Any questions for Mr. Mullins? Any questions? No? Nope. Doesn't seem like they have any questions. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, just educate me on the process. So I walk away. Other people that have signed up to talk about the project, they communicate with you, and then I have a chance to come back. Okay.
Yep, you get a chance to come back and rebut.
Okay.
So, yep. Mullins, would you like to speak? No? Okay. Caleb Minor, would you like to speak? You'll pass. Sarah Minor, would you like? You'll pass, okay. Baylor Payne? I'll pass. Mike, is it Knuckle? Do what, Knuckle? You're welcome to speak.
My name is Mike Knuckles, 3080 Southampton in Foxcliff South. I've lived in Foxcliff approximately 25, 26 years. Did live in North, moved to South because we were downsizing and the only available places were in South. I was on the board of directors for the golf course for over 10 years. During that 10-year period, we were struggling. I mean, every year was a crapshoot on whether we're going to make it or not. I was not on the board when Doug made a proposal to buy the golf course. However, I was one of the two that counted the votes when the shareholders voted, and he's right, it was 100%. The shareholders were approximately 55% lived in North, a few lived in South, and some lived outside the Foxcliff area. So the 100% vote for the Mullins to purchase it basically said that we had confidence in what he was doing. And in the year that he's had the golf course, all I can say is he's exceeded our expectations. And everything he's done was with the golf course in mind and also with the homeowners in mind. He looks at both North and South, and he would not do anything that would jeopardize any of the property owners in there. So I guess the bottom line is we have our trust in the Mullins on what they're doing and see nothing negative to what they've done or in their vision to the future. So I guess I'm saying that we definitely want to approve the variance for this. So, thank you.
Thank you. He's not writing very well, that's for sure. Mr. Mayo, would you like to speak? No? Okay. Mr. Henshaw, would you like to speak? Okay.
My name is Mike Henshaw, and my address is Mike Henshaw, and the address is 2065 Norwich Place. I am the president of the board of directors of Maple Turn Utilities. We'll be providing water and sewer for this project, and I have been on the board of directors at Foxcliff South for 10 of the last 12 years, most recently the president of the board. To understand all of this better, we need to rewind a couple of years when the golf course was failing under its then board of directors. We had a lot of people that we talked to understand the impact of a failing golf course on our community, and no one had anything good to say. We had people who actually lived in communities where the golf course had failed and their property values had plunged. Everyone was angry because of the flurry of lawsuits. Things were in disrepair. It was not a place we wanted to go. So we took about $250,000 of our own resources and purchased the golf course and then leased it back to the operation. But it didn't do any good. They still had trouble, and then Doug came onto the scene and bought it, and we extended this lease to him. And the way that I see all of this is that if Mullen Enterprises does well, then the golf course will have a higher probability of continued operation, and if that occurs, then our home values will be sustained. So although it's indirect, I do support this rezoning and construction effort. I know that there are issues of drainage and traffic, but to be honest, it's going to be the case with any construction project, and it can be managed. All these things can be managed. If there are people who don't want to see this move forward, I wonder sometimes if it's not like a lot of the construction projects we see in Foxcliff where, you know, they want to move in, cut trees, change the landscape, but as soon as they're done, they don't want anyone else to do it. So you have to step back sometimes and see that progress needs to continue and there's always going to be change. And I think that this is going to be a good change. Place for older people, people like me in the years ahead when I don't want to have 3/4 of an acre a yard and I don't want to be maintaining my house. Something like this will be very attractive. So anyway, that's all I have to say. I wanted to maybe give a little bit broader perspective as you guys make your decisions. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions at all?
Any questions? No? Good, thank you. Mr. Schindler?
My name is Terry Schindler, and I live at 2118 East Rutland Lane in Foxcliff. I've been at that residence for 30-plus years. I've been a member of the golf course for 37 years. I actually live across the street from the 8th tee and actually across the street from the Moulton family, so I've known them for many years, and my wife has had the privilege of teaching their children, and we know them very well. I was on the board of Foxcliff during those unfortunate failing years, and I remember all the things we tried to keep the golf course solvent. We were working to keep it in operation. I was secretary-treasurer when we had to vote to sell the golf course to the Mullen family, and I can verify that it was 100% in favor of selling the golf course. There was not one negative vote that evening. I believe that this development is important because the golf course is important to the development of youth. It's important to property values in the area and keeping us as a family-oriented community, or helping us as a family-oriented community. Doug and Paula have improved the course, the quality of play, the aesthetics. They've had a significant membership increase. And I think one of the big things that should be known is, as far as how Doug and Paula are looking at the golf course, is the notion of youth development. Last year we had First Tee. We had one of the biggest in the state. We had 70 kids that came to play at the golf course. And last week, along with Baylor and another pro, we went through a 6-hour seminar. And I went through my first level coach training last Friday evening. And I'm planning on coaching again this year. And we're looking forward to have a really nice First Tee second year. This second year also qualifies a lot of these kids to go on to further activities, scholarships, tournaments, and other development opportunities that we learned about at the seminar. There's a lot of other things that are coming back to the course because Doug has hired 2 professionals. We've got Baylor and we got Steve Ferris. And that allows us to bring back things that we did in the past that we can no longer afford because we couldn't afford to have the PGA professional. But now that we have a PGA professional, a lot more things are going to happen. I play golf with some of the people who've signed the list that want to have one of these homes that Doug and Paul are going to build. And a lot of the people in the neighborhood have signed that list. Doug and Paula are family-oriented. They're a family of deep faith, strong values, and ethics. This development will actually be an enhancement to the neighborhood. You know, we might go through some pain while it's being constructed, but we all just went through I-69. Come on. If we can survive that, we can survive this. Doug doesn't do anything halfway. I was going to say something else, but I cleaned it up. I mean, he's a visionary, and I guess the example of what he's done and the quality of the things that they've done is right here in our own town, around the square. We were telling some friends at my daughter's 30th birthday party the other night about 21 North and having restaurants like that here. And I just got the birthday cake from Sarah's Goodies over here, which is part of his stuff. I only see one downside to this thing, and that's the fact that there's going to be some people probably sitting on their patios out there having a drink, and they're going to have to watch my swing on number 9. Thank you.
Thank you. Karen Schneider? Pass. Pat Cannon? Pass. David Garrison?
My name is Dave Garrison. I've lived in Foxcliff for 45 years. I live at 2169 East Rutland Lane, and I have known the Mullins as long as they've lived here as well. Two things. We raised all our children. We moved into Foxcliff when we were 26, and we're 70 now. And there is no place in Foxcliff to age into. So if we get to the point where we can't live in our home anymore, there's just no place to stay in Foxcliff and live. So I think this is an important prospect for many folks that are beginning to age out of their homes, number one. Number two, this occurred to me as Mr. Hinshaw was speaking regarding Maple Turn Utility. I was part of a group back in the early 80s that was formed as a part of a community group to work with the IURC and condemn the prior owners of Maple Turn Utilities. It was the last asset that John Fuel had. And our community had a very negative reputation because of our utility company. And it really reminds me of sort of the community spirit. We formed Maple Turn Utilities and took the utility away, paid them, but forced them into bankruptcy. And this reminds me a little bit of that. Some people that are here doing this privately, but doing something for the good of the community that's going to raise the valuation of all the properties in the community.
All right. Thank you. Carol Garrison, would you like to speak? Pass. Okay. Brian Dotson?
Hi, my name is Scott Dotson. I've lived in the community for my whole life. The Mullins, if you know them, you know that they don't do anything without it in their heart. They don't do anything without always doing the right thing first. They've done nothing but improve our community their whole lives. They raised 10 kids here. They've just been an absolute fantastic example of what the family's supposed to look like in my mind. As a realtor in this area, I believe that there's no negative to this whatsoever. These people in this community have no place to go when they've outlived their house that they're in, and we need this project for these people to be able to move to the next step in their lives. That house is going to get sold. That house is going to get renovated. It's going to get improved. It's going to improve home values for all of us. So there's no negatives to this. It's an absolute no-brainer to me. And you couldn't have someone better to be pushing this project than the Mullins. They're the best people that I know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. Smith, would you like to talk? Mr. Smith? He is a person of interest. So.
Jerry Smith. I'm at 3777 North Foxcliff Drive West. I've lived there about, 16 or 17 years. I'm an attorney and a deputy prosecutor for Title 4D here in town. I probably know close to half you guys on the board. I'm surprised I don't know more of you. As far as the Mullins, they're great. I'm sitting on the fence on this mainly because there's things I don't know, and I don't like to say yes to things I don't know, but there are some really good things about this project. My favorite thing about this project is they've got a list a mile long of Foxcliff homeowners that would like to downsize and retire into those and stay in our neighborhood instead of moving to Florida or go somewhere else because they can't find someplace local. They want to stay in a place they know and love, and to me, that's the best reason for this whole project and what they're doing. I have no fear about the quality of the project. I've talked to Mr. Mullen, but not at length, just in passing, and I wish I would have thought to ask him this the last time I talked to him, because maybe I'd know the answer, and then I'd be, instead of on the fence, I'd be pro. But I've seen, neighborhoods go in. I don't know what kind of, if there's going to be a homeowner association or some kind of covenants and restrictions on the owners. But to me, that's the difference between having a community that lasts like Foxcliff North and South that maintains their level, and a community that, when you go back 30 years later and those homes have changed hands 3 or 4 times, they may not be taking care of them as well as this first group of people and maybe even the second group of people. And so that's my only concern, and it's an I don't know concern. It's not that I think they're doing anything bad. I'm generally positive on this project. I just hope that that gets addressed in some way. But I think you couldn't have a better person working on this project here in this town, and I think they're going to do a great job if you let them do it. Please address the one thing, or let me know about it if you've already got it addressed, because I don't really know. But that's it. Thanks.
All right, thank you. We have one opposition, Everett Bryant. You'll pass? Okay. Mr. Mullen, would you like to have a rebuttal?
Well, a little overwhelmed by the support that I've gotten here tonight, so I appreciate that. Brian asked about, our plan is to have an HOA that would sustain the standard, that we're looking for. These are going to be very visible homes. We'll have people visiting the golf course from outside the community. We want to maintain a standard. And one of the ways that we'll be able to manage that is that actually the maintenance team for the golf course will be maintaining all the lawns and all the common areas. And so it's going to be governed by an HOA. We're going to be able to control what the outside looks like, the yards and all that, because we're going to be the ones providing the upkeep. And I think it'll help us maintain a standard that is necessary for us to continue to have that at a high level, so.
No?
Okay.
Any questions? No? Thank you.
Yeah, I do want to say one other thing. The way we designed this is that these are in the center of the golf course, not obstructing people's views that live adjacent to the golf course. So there's always a golf hole or some amount of property between the structures that we're building that are more central to the golf course, middle of the golf course, and not, I'll just use the term, not so much an in-your-face right up against other property owners, if that makes sense. We're trying to be very respectful of that. We don't want to distract from somebody's view. For people that live kind of up on the northern side of the back 9, we didn't want them to be looking over somebody's roof, and so we're not considering building anything up there. All very central to the middle of the golf course. So that's
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Parker, do you have anything you'd like to add? Any questions for Ms. Parker? All right. Well, this closes our public portion of our hearing. Floor is open for comment, conversation.
Well, I know the Molins personally, and everything I've seen around them, they've done a great job of doing everything I said they was going to do. And so I appreciate I haven't seen anything they've ever started that they didn't make it better before they got done with it. So that's my,
The only question I have, Ms. Parker, maybe you can answer this, is do we have a description on what we're rezoning? No. The exact location of what we're rezoning. Yes. Okay, I didn't see that, so I didn't know if we had it or not. So, okay. That was the only issue I had, is, make sure we had that legal description of the rezone. And it's 21.6 acres, is that what it is on that description? Okay. Any other questions?
I'll follow up on what Bill had to say. I know Doug and Paula personally too, and even their son Aaron very well. And everything that I've ever seen them get into, they've done a nice job. Even as Artisan Group working together with Craig and Mary, they did a very nice job. And I can't thank you enough for what you've done for our city as well as the whole community county. So I appreciate that.
Any other comments or discussion? If not, I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to forward a favorable recommendation for petition Z 2304 R2 rezone request to the commissioners.
We have, go ahead.
I'll second.
Mr. Floyd, second. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You will have to be heard in front of the commissioners, and I believe that's this coming Monday, and it's an evening meeting, correct?
Yes.
So it's a 6:30 meeting next Monday. Okay. I'd like to thank everyone that came tonight. This is a large crowd we normally don't have, so thanks for coming. Normally it's against. But not this amount of people, that's for sure. I was shocked.
When I saw the parking lot, I thought, people are gonna oppose.
Oh, yep.
I better come up here and say hi to him real quick. I mean, I waved to
Yeah,
you.
we'll just move on.
Couldn't call me in. No, I'm still there, 40 years.
Yeah.
take care, Bob.
People are gonna be seeing the exact same thing.
We will move ahead. We're ready for a public hearing for a vacate and replat petition, RP 2303. Holloway Engineering on behalf of John Wellsprings and Jeffrey and Amanda Robinson is requesting to vacate and replat 2 lots in Stewart Odell Minor subdivision located at 6922 Old State Road 144 in Madison Township. The property is zoned rural residential. Mr. Larison will be here for Holloway.
Out an aerial photo of this property. I didn't see one in your package. And I think most of you were probably here in 2020 when we passed this minor plat originally.
Yep.
Lands of Ruth Odell and Stuart Odell platted this 2-lot subdivision again in 2020. And these owners, John Wellspring and Jeff and Amanda Robinson, are the owners of Lot 1 and 2. And they have purchased that 1-acre parcel that you see that sits kind of right in the middle, but is not actually a part of the subdivision.
that was purchased by, actually by Mr. Wellspring's son, who planned to build a house on it. He changed his mind, and the three parties have agreed to incorporate that 1 acre now evenly into both lots 1 and 2. So the end result is those 2 lots, lot 1 and 2, are now, have gone from 2.4 acres in size up to 2.9 acres in size. Again, we're not here to further subdivide in any way. The net effect of this minor plat is to make each lot 1 and 2 smaller. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Any questions for Mr. Larison? Yeah, you didn't bring much of a crowd with you, Mr. Larison.
It's unusual, isn't it? I'll bet we do next time.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Have no one else signed up? And no one else has signed up? Ms. Parker, do you have anything? Okay. Well, this closes our public portion of the hearing. Any discussion?
Was this our third time at least?
Yeah?
On this property?
I think it is on this property. Yeah, if no discussion, I'll call for a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the vacate and replat request petition RP 2303.
I'll second.
Michelle? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Got the plat to sign? Yeah, you're up, aren't you, John?
Yeah, I do have the next one as well. It also is a minor plat, another family compound. Brian and Ann Jackson, many of you probably know the couple. They both work here in town. They actually own the 4 homes that are included on this subject property. They've owned 3 of those for a couple of decades. The 4th one they've actually bought as a result of I-69 landlocking the parcel nearest to the highway. So they did buy that property from the state. And we're here tonight to make the situation work with septic fields and driveways. They have a plan to eventually pass 2 of the homes on to family members. So I've worked to, along with the rezone to R1, work to make the yards and driveways work out so that they all meet the minimum 1 acre and all of the septic fields are on the proper lot. So the plat that you see is the result of that, and I believe that we did that in a way that makes the most sense on the ground and actually doesn't require any variances, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty proud of that plat. So that's all we had on that one, if you have any questions.
Do you have a drive maintenance agreement for that?
I do. That's on the second page of the plat.
Okay.
It's actually pretty detailed as to percentage of
Yeah.
maintenance for the 3 different parts of the driveway.
Okay.
And it is laid out in the dedication.
Any question for Mr. Larison? Ms. Parker, you have anything you'd like to add? Yeah, yeah. Okay, now this closes our public portion of the hearing. This is, we didn't announce what petition this was, so this is MIP 2303. Well, I'll call for a motion.
Kenny Hill makes a motion that we approve the minor plat as petition MIP 2303.
Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Mr. Rumball seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We'll move to the next one. Rezone petition Z 2305. Mr. Larison, you're up again.
Okay. This rezone, this rezone will allow for all of the lots to be in compliance. Eventually, it'll allow for clean sale or gifting to the next owner. And we're seeking approval of that replat for that reason tonight.
You going from Egg to R1?
I'm sorry?
Egg to R1, is that what we're going
It
to?
is R1, yes. Allows for a 1 acre lot with septic.
On this one? All right. Ms. Parker, I assume you have nothing? This closes our public portion of the hearing. Any discussion or comments? If not, I'll call for a motion.
I move that we have a favorable recommendation on the R1 zone request on Z-23-05.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Monday night at the Commissioners' meeting. It's coming Monday, yep.
Yeah. Farm Bureau.
Mr. Peden, anything to comment on today? Nope. Okay. Ms. Parker?
Minutes. Or I mean, their rules and procedures.
I looked at them.
I didn't hear any feedback, so I wasn't sure what you wanted to do with it tonight, if you have any changes you want to make, if you're okay with it. You know, again, nothing, you know, earth-shattering in this document.
I read it. I didn't see anything that was terribly different than what we're already doing.
I didn't
so
either.
It felt pretty comfortable to me.
The only thing I would point out is that we currently have a chair, but technically the state statute is president. So this actually calls for the officers to be president, vice president,
Yeah.
and secretary. So that is one very, very minor change, but you'll see that nomenclature change.
Yep. So we don't have
yeah.
to do, we don't have to do any vote or anything like
No,
that to make that
no,
happen. It's
not
just
at all.
part of.
So the
okay.
titles is
It's
changed.
the
Yeah.
titles, yeah.
Now, do we have a secretary or?
Yeah, you'll have a president, vice president, and secretary. And those will simply remain the same. So, I mean, my little flags in here are mostly just, you know, some typos or grammatical or formatting changes. Really, I didn't have anything else. I know I do have to add the table of contents, but
Yeah.
if you want to adopt this tonight, and then I can bring you back the finished version next month, and it'll be all pretty, and you'll all have your own copies for your own reference, or
It's up to you guys.
it's entirely up to you.
It's up to you guys. What do you want to do?
I mean, I think we ought to go ahead and adopt tonight
Adopt
so
it
that
in
we can
principle.
finish this up. This is just one more
It's
piece
just
that's
housekeeping.
finished. Yeah.
Right.
And then bring them back to us anyway, so we have our
Yes.
nice copy.
Yes, you'll have a pretty copy.
Do we have a motion to accept the new, what's it called, rules of procedure?
Yeah, I would make a motion that we adopt
Adopt, I
the
guess,
new
prefer would.
Morgan County Plan Commission rules and procedures as presented in a draft dated 1/28/23.
Second? I'll second. Seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Great, thank you all.
Anything else?
That's all I had.
That's it?
Surprise.
Okay. Our next meeting is April 10th. Call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
All right.
All opposed? Motion carries.